Greetings, everyone. So, I am Micaiah Wellmaker, your holistic wellness woman. And okay, let's just start from the beginning. So, for quite some time, I've known who I am and what I represent. But for some reason, I have always been my biggest critic. And I have always been my biggest holdup and setback. Well, today is going to be the start of a brand new day. I am just going to do what it is that I know I came on this planet to do. And that is be the best me that I could possibly be every day. I am completely committed to my own happiness and my own greatness. And I want to share my journey. I am clearly aware of who I am and what I came on this planet to do. But some days I find myself questioning those very aspects of who I am. Well, about a month ago, I decided to get on a journey of self-discovery. And I say a month ago, but this journey began almost 7 years ago. And I've been on and off of it. I've been operating in it in the way that others thought I should operate. I've been following paths that weren't necessarily my path, but it just felt right. And I didn't understand what leadership and guidance really meant. And so I just kind of was doing what felt good, but also what others, thought was good for me or right for me or the thing for me. And one of the things that made me go ahead and push the button today is because every time I get started on this journey of going inside and really just discovering who I am, there's a part of me that wants to share it. And as I started going through my birth chart again, I came upon this portion where it talks about who I am as far as my personality, my sun sign. So my sun is in Capricorn. And if anybody knows anything about a Capricorn, you already know. We know. We do things. We know how to do things. We get things done. If you know a Capricorn, then you know that type of energy coming from a Capricorn. So as I'm going through my birth chart, the first thing I read is Capricorn is a feet on the ground, eyes on the prize side. And I know this about myself. Like, I just get fired up from the first line. Then I read those with the sun in Capricorn have a realistic, grounded approach to life that can be seen no matter how dreamy the rest of the birth chart suggests. And that is the part that also gets me excited and ready to push the button, because I know this about myself, and much of me wants to just initiate these things all the time. But then I know there are things in my chart that hold me back. And as I continue to read my sun, I realize it's in my sun where most of this issue of going on and doing the things that I came here to do comes from. So Capricorns naturally turn their back on things that they deem frivolous. If anybody knows me or you know a Capricorn, if it don't make sense to the Capricorn, then it is clearly a waste of time and energy. It's just in our nature. If it seems frivolous and a waste of time to us, then you can best believe we are not going to put any energy into it. And I am that individual. Like, I find myself feeling cold towards a lot of things that other people want to do or deem important. And I know that the part of me that's like, that's not right, is somewhere else in my chart, because the Capricorn is like, whatever, doesn't serve you, move on. So my sun sign also mentions that we are very much concerned with things that are worthwhile and that include our very own lives. So it may be worthwhile. And I realized that even in myself, that it may be worthwhile. It may be something that is great. But if it does not line up or include me, then I'm kind of not as excited. And some days, and I know this is somewhere else in my chart, definitely not in Capricorn, but there are times when I'm like, yeah, that's not right. You got to consider other people's lives and not just your own. But deep inside, I know there's a part of me, and not that deep, because I'm having to constantly tell myself that, hey, think about other people and how this may affect the person next to you. But I definitely understand now why so much of me is concerned about my own life. It is the sun sign that I came in this world under. I can't help it. I mean, I can help it, but it's a part of who I came here and chose to be. So anyway, I'm going to keep moving, because it turns into a conversation where I'm almost like downing myself for being who I came here to be. And that's not happening in this season. I'm often in a space of always wanting to be great, always wanting to do something that is exciting and worthwhile. And that is clearly a Capricorn energy. Capricorns do and be, want to do and be something worthwhile. And that is a fact. If it's not going to affect anything or make any changes, then I don't really want to do it. I just want to do those things that are going to matter. And it seems that I have some cohorts in the earth sign group that we all feel the same. The Taurus, the Virgo. It's like we need to feel useful and effective in the real world in order to be satisfied with our lives. And that is me completely. I really feel the need to be needed. Which is why I believe my journey through Christianity was so important, and it lasted for so long. And even when I went away from it, I found myself running back to it, because in that space, you kind of put on this cape where you are saving people. It's part of the thought process that we want to be so much like Jesus that we are going to go out and save the world. We have to make disciples of other people in the world, and help the blind see and feed the hungry and save the lost. Like, that is the energy of that space, and walking under that cloak. And so being a Capricorn, that just fit right into my makeup. I want to do something. I like mattering. I like feeling useful. I really like being effective in the world. It's the thing that brings me the most joy. If I can enter into a space and do what I do, put my hands to work and put a smile on my face, or whatever it is that I do, and it affects others and it makes others feel better, or it lifts them up, or it empowers them, then I feel amazing. Like I feel like I have done the most, and it could be very little. It doesn't have to be anything that grand. I'm thinking right now, if I worked a job when I was working, and I would complete whatever the task is or the assignment was that I was responsible for, and I did it to this level of excellence that was just like nobody else could match what I've done. And the person, my supervisor or whoever came in and saw what I'd done, oh my God, it made my whole life just feel worthwhile. I was excited. I felt like, I had accomplished the world. So it's not that as a Capricorn, I have to do grand things. I simply just have to be able to do things that matter. And we have a strong sense of feeling secure when we are part of the framework, the foundation of how things are done. I know for me, if I'm not going to be a part of the change or making something happen that is going to affect those around me, then I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. If it's not going to change the world, then it's not worthwhile for me. Now, there's a part of this sun sign, like right in the beginning, that says Capricorns possess a stronger need for recognition in a worldly sense that just irks my soul. Like, it irks my soul, but confession, it's the truth. If people don't see what I'm doing, then what am I doing it for? It's basically the energy. If someone doesn't appreciate what I'm doing, then why am I doing it? If it's not affecting anyone else, then what's really the point? As a Capricorn, I kind of live for pleasing others, but not in a people pleasing sense. It has to be what I want to do. But when I do it, I want others to love it. I want other people to recognize that I did something great. And that's a part of me that I fight, because it teeters on people pleasing. And I know that there is a deep part of me that's like, I don't really care. And as I go on this journey through my birth chart, I'm sure that those things are going to make sense. As I'm sitting here looking at this natal chart and the breakdown of it, and I just want to go ahead and give a disclaimer. I am using the cafeastrology.com to go through my birth chart. You're not a sponsor by any means, but as far as resources are concerned, this has been one of my favorites since I began this journey, probably back in 2000, long before 2000, because my daughter was still in elementary school. So it was probably around 98, 99, close to 2000. Let's say it's been at least 20 years that I have began looking at astrology and learning to discover who I am. I think I was so focused on the Capricorn energy and really honing in on that I never understood along the way that there was so much more and it was so much deeper. But I've always liked cafe astrology because it breaks down everything and it just kind of makes it plain for me. And it's so many details, and it always made sense. Like, it always resonated with me. So if you're looking for a place to get your birth chart or your natal chart reading and do a self journey where you first go in and research and study yourself. I often hear people advising individuals to get astrology readings and things like that. And I do believe that going to a qualified astrologist is important and it will help you on your journey. I also am a firm believer in the self mastery first. So know who you are when you go into these places. Know what your chart says about you before you go and speak to anyone else about your journey. One of the other things that I have discovered while going through this natal chart is that need of recognition is more about understanding that I'm valued. And in my circle, in my community, recognizing that I'm an important part of my community or my society is truly important. It's truly, it's definitely a thing that gives me joy. Knowing that in my society, I'm a part of the foundation work is probably the thing that gives me the most joy. I am a part of a few communities that I am on the administrative team for, and couple of them, I am like heading those particular teams. And it is because of that space that I feel needed and wanted and valued in those spaces that keep me going and keep me coming back, even though sometimes the energy is frustrating. I find myself not leaving because I know I'm valuable in that space. There are circles and communities that I am a part of, and I'm often questioning why I'm here. Is it really necessary for me to be here? If there have been times where if I am not made to feel special, I sabotage those relationships because I just don't understand why I'm here. And I start to feel like I'm in the way, or I'm pushing myself onto people who don't necessarily want me around or need me if nothing is being expressed. Like if there's no conversation about, hey, we really need you here, or you're here because of XYZ, then I find myself not really wanting to be around because it's like I'm just in the way. And Lord knows I don't want to be in the way. Now, one of the things that I discovered is that Capricorns have different dynamics. So there are some that are attracted, well, many, according to the Cafe astrology breakdown, many are attracted to status symbols. And those are the ones that wear the best clothes, they drive the finest, most expensive cars, those things that are impressive. Where some Capricorns take pleasure in the simple things of life. And I think that's where I am. I love the simple things. I love going to the park. I love wearing 100% cotton. I love wearing things that I made, treasures that I find in the Goodwill. I have a love for not just African culture, but the 70s era, maybe even the 60s as far as clothing is concerned. So My taste for clothing has nothing to do with the latest trend or what other people like. But on the flip side, when I am doing what pleases me, or I want to go and do those things that are lavish, I do it and I enjoy it. I remember being in Cali one time and I had planned to just pamper myself. Like I wanted to be in a penthouse type Airbnb. I didn't want to be in a hotel. I wanted it to be on the high floor facing the beach. I wanted to drive. I think my plan was to get a Mercedes that week. It was my birthday. It was my birthday. So I wanted to just go all out for this trip. And when I got to the rental car place, they didn't have a Mercedes. They kept trying to put me in like a Land Rover or something like that. And to me, those might be high end cars to somebody. I remember my husband was like, "This is a high end car. Like, why are you turning your nose up at it?" But it wasn't impressive to me. I wanted a Mercedes. I like the Mercedes truck and the big body Mercedes, and that's what I wanted. And so my mind was set on what was going to impress me. To me, a Land Rover or Range Rover. See, look, I don't even know what to call them, but a Range Rover is what everybody drives. And yes, many people drive Mercedes, but it was my car. It's what I wanted. So it ended up, the only other thing they had available was a Maserati. And no, I think just the name Maserati just sounded great to me. I know that it's a high end car, but you know, I wanted that. And that's the car that I chose to ride around in for the week. And it, I felt good getting in and out my Maserati. I remember driving through Beverly Hills. That was also the time that I went into my dream home. And I'll share that story on another cast. But I was able to gain access to my dream home up in Beverly Hills. And I call it my dream home when really it is my dream for a home, no matter where it is. I want to basically live or reside in a wellness center. So there's this home. I'm just going to give you a bit. There's this home in California that I absolutely love. And I'm just going to turn it into into a wellness center. But upstairs will be where I live. So yeah, I definitely have a space in me that wants the finer things and to reach the top of what I deem successful in my life. But I also have this place in me that is quite simple. I don't need it fast. I don't need it quick. I just want to get there, and I want to enjoy the journey getting there. My eye is definitely always on the prize, but I don't mind taking it slow and really figuring it out along the way so that when I do get to that space, I absolutely have enjoyed not only the journey, but I get to enjoy the spoils of my journey as I enjoy them and remember how I got here. So, without making this particular recording or cast too long or lengthy, I just wanted to go ahead and push the button and really dive into the foundation of what this platform is really going to be about. You never know. there's so much in me that has been waiting to come out. And today I finally feel empowered enough to not only push the button, but I'm going to release it today. Like, I'm going to go ahead and put it up on Anchor as well as on my YouTube channel. There's so many things that I want to get to perfection when it comes down to the podcast, like the place that I record in, making it perfect, having the sound right, having the proper mics, and all of these things. Those are the things that have hindered me from moving forward, because I want what I put out to matter and really be recognized, I guess, in a worldly sense. But it has to be something that's necessary and needed. Today I realize it's necessary and needed for me first. I have all of this inside of me. I've watched others do the things that I desire to do, but it's not me. So that is the reason why I'm willing to push forward and keep doing it. I saw a TikTok one time
y'all,
that
let me tell you about this conversation I had with one of my friends. I just couldn't believe it. Okay, so she came up with this really, really good idea. And I was like, yo, that's dope. You should do it. And she was like, I can't. I just looked on Instagram and saw that they already had that. I said, so why can't you do it? She was like, because it's already on Instagram. Somebody already did it. I said, okay, so why can't you do it? She said, because somebody already did it. I said, didn't Rihanna create Fenty like there wasn't MAC? Did she not create Savage Fenty like we didn't have Victoria's Secret and other lingerie stores? How many McDonald's and Burger Kings are across from each other like they don't sell the same food? How many beauty supplies is selling the same bundle on the same block? Okay, the market is oversaturated, but it don't have a you, baby. Like, if God gave you the gift, your gift gonna pop differently from theirs. Everything you touch prospers. So if they did it first, it don't matter. Yours gonna be different because the market is missing a you. And she was like, oh, I never thought of it like that. Yeah, Rihanna wasn't thinking like that either. She just created because God gave her a gift. And now look, billionaire. You're sleeping on your dreams, kid. You're sleeping on your dreams.
You're worried about, you don't want to start your project because you've seen the next person do it, or you already seen somebody doing it, but they didn't see you. Those people may be doing what you want to do, but it's not you doing it. And the world needs to see you. And as much as I feel like nobody wants to hear my voice and nobody cares what I'm talking about, every time I tend to get a microphone or get a platform to speak on, or just am in a room having a conversation, there is somebody in that room that needed to hear what I had to say. So I'm no longer going to hold back who I am. I plan to be fully me. I only have anyway, I plan to be fully who I am and allow that person to shine wholeheartedly and work through all of these things that I came here to be, deal with the emotions that I feel when I feel them. One of the things that is so intriguing about my sun sign is the ability to see into the future and plan for it. I've always had that gift to be able to know what's coming and to set myself up for it so that I win. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to win in life. And I'm winning in life, not going to win. I am currently winning in life, mainly because I pushed the button. I realized that I've always been who I came here to be. And I'm not ashamed of that anymore. And I love me. And I love myself wholeheartedly. So with that said, I am Micaiah Wellmaker, your holistic wellness woman. Keep smiling and be your authentic self.